to get the real organic feeling.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Tell me, my question was, just before we get started, my question was related to what you did yesterday. And if it's not a secret, you can just tell me
No, it
details
is
about
not a
it.
secret, actually. It's something universal, I think. It was very, sorry, just let me arrange my things. um, it happened all around the earth, I think. It was the night of the super or giant moon. I don't know what is the exact term. And
Okay.
it was a night filled with power and energy. Like, it is the period or the time when the moon is the closest to the earth. So there will be a very powerful effect of the flow, and you can even feel it on your body or the way you think. So like yesterday had a lot of energy, which it was positive and negative one. Like the negative, as I said, regarding the moon and its effect on our body and on the entire earth. And positive because yesterday was something religious. I don't want to talk about things related to religion, but it was something an event for the Islamic world, and they have celebrated, and so it has the positive energy. Because as they said that the night before, it was the night where God will allocate the livelihood of the people. So you have to relax and to thank him for the gifts that you have. I don't know if you believe in such things, but I believe in it.
Tell me more.
What?
Tell me more about that kind of thing that you just mentioned here, about yesterday.
Which part of it?
The creation of human being you mentioned, or
No,
what?
I said the livelihood of the human being.
I'm not exactly sure what that means, and that's
It
why I'm
means
asking
it
further
is a livelihood,
elaboration.
yes. Just let me check it. It is the livelihood, yes.
What's the equivalent to that in Arabic?
الرزق, أرزاق,
Okay.
livelihood. I don't know. Yes, it is livelihood.
Okay. And what are you supposed to do? What kind of rituals are you supposed to do in this rituals?
I mentioned that it was a night full of negative energy at first because the moon is very close to the earth, so it has the power, the gravity power over the water in the earth, and since the body is consisting of 70% of water, so you can feel it. You will feel more exhausted, tired, or this will make you somewhat moody. So you have to relax, and I told you have to light a candle and to do some meditation. And it is also powerful day regarding something religious related to the Islamic world, where
what is it? Tell me more about it. I think it's
the thing that I know about it is that, as I said, it is the day that or the night where the God will give the people their what they need to live the next year. Yeah, this is all that I know about it. But my mother taught me about some ritual. She said to bring a yellow paper and write something from Quran in red pen and just put it under the moon.
Under the moon?
Yes, under the giant moon. Yeah,
Like
I
you
did
write
it.
it and you just write it, raise it up like this, and in a position that seems to the eye lower than the moon?
Yeah, it's under the moon, so it's
And what
exposed
is
to the
that?
moon.
What is that supposed to affect the positive and negative? I'm just inquisitive, to be honest, and also curious to help you elaborate on this kind of particular topic in English, just in case sometime in future you may come across a visitor from another country or another universe, and he wants to understand the context and the rituals that you're doing in this kind of occasion. Because I've had this kind of situation, and it was a little bit embarrassing to me the first year where I I was I was in the US, and
Mm,
uh, I was staying with a host family,
mm,
and it was on November, I think
mm,
November 11th or something like that. It was Halloween. I don't know
mm,
exactly what date that is, but it was in November.
mm,
And the host's mother
mm,
was was doing some cooking in the kitchen, back in the
mm,
kitchen. The kitchen is in the back of the house, and I was so overwhelmed with the amount of work that I was supposed to do, submit some deadlines for my college. I was
mm,
sitting at I was sitting on a couch in
mm,
the meeting room in the guest room, and I heard a
mm,
knock on the door,
mm,
with a little bit of kids talk outside. I
mm,
didn't know what was happening.
mm,
Uh, to be honest, it was my fault because I was not educating myself enough with the culture
mm,
there at the beginning, of course. So I opened the door, and there were a bunch of kids, and they
mm.
were telling me trick or treat, and I was like, what? And they said trick or treat, and then I said,
Nothing
what do
at
you
all,
mean?
just go away.
What do you want? What do you mean? What's a trick? What's a treat? And then
Mm,
one of them said, well, are you going to give us candies, or we should leave you here? And and I was like, okay, for candies I can give you that, but what's a trick? Because
mm,
deep in my subconscious mind I was like thinking, should I like trick them to do something,
mm,
or
mm,
like play some
mm,
hand gestures?
mm,
I didn't know what was going on actually.
mm, mm,
um, so I heard the hosting mother coming, approaching me from my back, and she said, "Well, just give them some chocolate and some candies." And
mm,
she had a basket that she
mm,
went out sometime earlier, and she got it from Trader Joe's, which is a supermarket there. And that was just because I didn't have enough enlightenment or education about that particular cultural thing.
mm.
This is something that should be taken care of by learners once they start learning English, and they need to understand culture as
Mm,
well. So that's the point.
mhm.
Yeah. So tell me about what your mom taught you in details more, and then we can transition to the next part of our conversation.
Um, yes, like when you want to improve your salary or your income, or you want to um, improve your living style, you needed money, so you will have to ask it politely from your God.
Uh-huh.
Uh, that's what we did yesterday. Uh, we did some prayers. We read Quran. We
Mm-hmm.
made candles, and we bought some the sweets, and we make desserts. And we did such
Thank
a
you. It was
ritual, like
delicious.
yes, it was.
Okay.
And we did this yellow paper thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that we did is that we pick up um, like a graph. It is a graph of beans,
Okay.
and you have to take each one and to read some also Quran on it and to blow on it, so you can save it for the rest of the year to cook it whenever you cook the beans. To put some of it on your meals. It will make you healthy, I hope. I don't know what is the origin of these things, actually. I don't know if it is correct or not, but when you believe in something, it will happen, I think.
I think that's absolutely true, regardless of the religion or ethnicity or race or um, belief.
I think these are true and powerful, like the curse that happened in Egypt. It is something weird. You heard about the disasters that they are suffering from it right now because of Pharaoh and its curse. I think it's true.
Well, I'm not sure if that is in alignment with the kind of activity or rituals that you did yesterday.
No, it is another thing, but the power of such things exists.
It exists with limitations, but I think it's the human perception of natural phenomenon and also some spirituality out there that may interfere. Everybody has his own beliefs and his own principles on which they build certain societal behaviors, and one of them is the impact or the influence of religion on the social behavior, because this is something that lots of people actually get affected by, whether they do that and that makes logical sense to them or does not make any sense to them. Rewinding back to the beginning of reading of The Power of Habit, you remember when we started to draw an analogy between the habits that we perform on a daily basis and how they impact our success in life, and the habit of doing 5 prayers a day, and how that kind of relevant. And we draw on some religious verses from Holy Quran where in reality they do not make sense. Like, why do we have to do this action repeatedly on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis? And we keep doing this from early age in our life to the moment of death. Why do we have to do this consistently? And why do we have so disciplined? It seems to me there is an underlying interpretation for that, and that is certain disciplines and certain principles may affect subconsciously the person's social performance and interaction with people and his commitment to fulfill his promises or success in life or completing and fulfilling any gaps in his career.
Exactly.
I'm listening.
Hello?
I hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so building on that, what are you preparing to talk to me about today? I think we have talked about something interesting that you're going to do this week regarding one of the chapters and your presentation of that. And I'm very excited to give you the floor and shoot the ball in your court so you can just energetically present something.
The ball in my court or my ground?
It's the ball is in your court. That's the expression. That we can throw it in your ground if you like that. I mean, or we can throw it in Zayuna if you like. It's up to you. Choose whatever you like. Pick and choose.
Okay. Then this chapter will talk about the willpower. So it is the main what is the main thing that we are going to talk about, which is the willpower.
Okay.
The willpower is
to be on the same page. I want you to specify the type, the chapter that you're focusing on.
is the
and
fifth one.
and the key elements that you are going to focus on. So primarily speaking, we've covered some of the major thoughts in chapter 1 to 3 and 4. And I feel that we haven't fully covered chapter 4, but shifting to chapter 5 here and talking about that may give us some keystones about willpower and
Yeah.
what it is.
So
And this is
it's all related to each other. Like in each chapter, they add a little. I think this chapter added a little to my knowledge or information because they already mentioned it in the previous chapters. They just talk about one of these keystone habits that matters in our life, which is the willpower. So willpower is one of the keystone habits that is very important, that will lead us to success. It is the habit that will enable us to do whatever we are planning to do or we meant to manage to do. So it's fortunately that the willpower is it's also a skill. It is a learnable skill, and it's something like a muscle that they describe it as a muscle that when you just train it or exercise it regularly, then it will get larger or bigger, or it will be more powerful. So when this muscle is strengthened, then this habit or this keystone habit will spill its effects over other parts of our lives. So it will enable us to do whatever task that we want to accomplish so easily and smoothly. It will, because things now are becoming automatic, we will have to do less work to achieve what we want to achieve. And the other important thing of willpower, it will help us to change our way of thinking. Like, for example, when we feel hungry and we want to take, we can take a piece of apple instead of a piece of cookies. So it will help us to distract ourselves from such temptations. I will try to link it more to, you said you have to link it more to in a practical life. Willpower will also enable us to have more self-discipline and more self-control, and this is very important to step in management. Like for me, I decided a few months ago to do some domestic management, budget, to set a budget for spending. I set a plan for my spending. So I said that I should only spend money on necessary things. I have to visit the markets and malls less oftenly. I have to even surf internet less oftenly, because it's full of pages with things that will tempt us to buy the way they so it sometimes force you to buy it. I said no, I don't want to do that anymore. So I think this is something related to that subject, which is the willpower. I felt it's very hard in the beginning, because I used to buy whatever I want, or I went to the mall whenever I want and buy everything I want. This is very wrong behavior and habit. This is the first thing that I felt that I link it to this chapter.
I want to comment on this because I'm still struggling with this spending and budget planning, and I was reading the the Rich Dad and the Poor Dad. It's a very popular book. And there was this quote that just caught my attention quite um, impressively. And he said that there's misconception about, honestly, about about talent and spending and behavior. And he said that spending money is not related to talent, it's more related to behavior. And he's linking on how rich people are not rich only because they are smart, but because their behavior is smart. So they are very keen to improve their spending behavior, and it has nothing to do with your talent. And he's giving examples where, like, for example, Nikolai Tesla, he's one of the smartest people on earth. He's the inventor, I think, of so many inventions. He died very poor with the amassed amount of inventions that he had, but he ended up poor. So the idea is that spending money is not related to being intelligent, talented, or not, but it's being aware or conscious about the behavior. And if we switch our behavior, we can definitely it's a behavioral crisis. It's not a talent crisis.
Yeah, it's related to willpower. If you have more self-control,
it is.
You will have to you can overcome this temptation.
We definitely can. It comes with a little bit of course, patience and dedication. I'm still struggling, actually. We're on the same boat in terms of in terms of spending. And the more I become conscious about spending less, I spend more. Yep.
You need the willpower again.
I definitely need willpower. I have a few questions here, but I would like to give you more space, more time, more room to elaborate more, because I do not want to dictate and dominate the conversation right now. It's your turn, and I think it's a privilege to hear you more saying things about this and what you learned and how it is linked to your life and what you learned from the chapter.
Okay. The other thing I noticed that things that related to willpower and self-control that I did is that the exercise thing. Well, my whole life before marriage, I was very skinny girl, but I gained weight a lot after pregnancy and giving birth. So I didn't know what is exercise. I didn't know how to manage my appetite, because I was always skinny. I can eat anything I want or whenever I want. So I struggled so much with the idea of restraining myself from having anything that I want to eat and doing exercise. But again, with the practicing and with encouraging myself, I try to do exercise at least twice weekly. I even separated the things on the kitchen, like for example, when you're working in a place, you will try to rearrange things that everything will be on the reach on your hand, like everything close to everything, and you can reach it whenever you want. So what I did is that I separate everything, like the bowls in a place and the dishes in another place and the oil in another one. So
is this to help you move around a little bit
I
more?
I can move more likely when I need something during cooking or cleaning. Now I will shift to another link, which is far away from the first one, which is when I read the story about the Starbucks and it's the way they manage it and they fund it. I remembered our first days in the hospital. It was a huge difference between what like the managers and executives in Starbucks did and what I've learned or didn't learn in the hospital. Like they were care about the employee training, and they spend a lot of money on training sessions and educate them how to behave, how to control themselves, to control their anger or their emotions. I can guarantee that none of this happened. And this is only Starbucks, but none of this happened in a very sensitive place like a hospital. We didn't have such training at all. We didn't have any instructions. I remember that the first few months in the college, they will always, I was always laughing when they said, call me doctor. I said they should not say that I'm a doctor. They should not call me a doctor. I do not earn this title yet. I'm still a student. So I laugh when they say doctor, but they were aware about that thing. So they said, do not be shy when we call you doctor. You have to believe that you are doctor from now. Not because you are in your first few days or you're still student, that means you are not doctor. No, but you are in your first steps for this title. So you have to be self-confident. You have to feel a pride. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe that you earn it. You earned that title. I can assure you that all of these positive feelings were smashed in the first few months after the practical life, because I lost my self-confidence, I lost my pride, I lost the belief in myself, because as I said, there was no basic rules that we followed. We didn't know what are the
it's called rules of engagement.
Nobody taught us. Nobody at all. They just throw us into the wars and they say go, and you have to do whatever you want to do. So we felt that we are in a loose ground.
I think that's pretty much the case in a lot of universities when they reach the buffer or the buttress of writing a research paper at the last year of their bachelor degree, and they haven't had any kind of background introduction to what research methods are and how they conduct a complete clean research paper that does not have any plagiarism or any citations that are not quoted. It's actually a dilemma for a lot of people, and I totally sympathize with this sort of problem that a lot of people actually, especially in Iraqi universities, go through. Keep going, please. I like to hear more, but I'm writing few comments here.
Oh, I remember something.
Yes.
One of the things that was in my mind, I think the last month, that I want to take my child to a music session or for a sport like swimming, any kind of sport, because he's very active, and I want to get the advantage of that behavior. Yes. They mentioned that in this chapter. They said it is very healthy to do such a thing, because it's not the idea that you take your kids to learn to play a certain type of instruments to be a musician in the future, but it will enable that child to feel obligated to something, or he will feel like more restrained or something like that. So I was proud of myself because I'm on the
Well,
right.
we talk about when we talk about kids teaching and kids nurturing in a social context, we definitely should refer to the experiential learning approach, and that is getting getting learners to real life experience on which they can do some conclusions and deductions and build their analysis and their logical understanding of what's going on and what this phenomenon is, because most of our learning is based on our experiences and what we've gone through. And the majority of great and successful people have built their entities and their existence on experiences that they've gone through. Like you come across a lot of people who feel confident when they present themselves, and that is just because they didn't wake up last night with a boost in their confidence. No, it's just they've gone through so many experiences that they sharpen their skills and they have developed a sense of control of audience and control of voice and control of cadence and control of pitch, and all of that is has contributed to who they become, building on where they're coming from. And it's quite important that you have a point that you just raised, and that is early in your childhood you had a dream to become who you are, maybe, and it was pretty much the same thing that when I was in the elementary school, for some reason, maybe it's a divine reason, maybe it's a career that was planned to me. I was dreaming to become a translator and an English teacher. So one day I was hanging out with my uncle and we were just sitting and chatting in the farm, and he said, "What do you want to be?" And I said, "I want to be a translator." And they were laughing. So fast forward a few years in the intermediate school, it's a secondary school. At that time, teachers were asking us pretty much the same question, like, "What do you want to
What do
be?"
you
And
want
the
in the
default
future?
answer is an engineer, a doctor, a pilot. Um, and none of them said anything about languages and learning languages and teaching languages. And the female teacher asked me, "What do you want to be?" And I said, "I want to be a translator." So the whole classroom was laughing at me because the word translator didn't come through their ears as a standard word. At that time, the word translator was kind of like mystery to some of them. That they know medicine, they know engineering, they know pilotage, but they haven't heard of so many people who worked as translators. So when I mentioned that, and the teacher was very impressed, and she supported me, and she gave me lots of comfort that I can achieve that. And now I can find myself within the field and territory of language teaching and
Well, when they asked
translation.
me such a question when I was a primary school, I said that I want to be a flight attendant.
Okay. And how
I
did
remember
that
that the teacher
change?
laughed at me and said, "What? Are you serious? Do you know what flight attendants are?" I didn't know what
It's
did she mean, but
I yeah, I mean it's sometimes we choose these jobs because probably somebody tells us that this is what you're meant to be. Like I have always thought of my mom because she always perceived of me as a male nurse,
mm,
and because I had white skin back in my young age, I was very white.
mm,
And it was like I was really, really white. I was blonde. I didn't have black hair at that time.
mm,
And they were thinking of me as a nurse, as a doctor, and
mm,
I was so passionate about being a linguist. A linguist is somebody who
mm,
works with languages. He's a linguistician. And that
mm,
was my passion, and I've gone through all the challenges to just break the rule and convince them, tell them that this is not what I meant to be. This is not, I'm not entitled to be a nurse. I am not good with blood. I'm not good with patients. I, I mean, whatever you're thinking of me, this is not me. This is not who I am. I'm a linguist. I love languages. I learn languages. I find it fascinating to go through words. I love words. I think of words as my brothers and sisters, and every day I should say hi to them. So this is me thinking of languages. I am not completely in the field of medicine, but does that mean that medicine is superior and linguists are inferior? No, it's just they are all equal. People choose their preferences based on their background and their experiences.
Of course it is.
Okay, just to take advantage of time,
Okay.
I have few questions and I have a task that I will ask you to do, and then we'll debate it and talk a little bit about it. How do you change your willpower to improve your English based on what you read?
The first thing that I did, or redo
How
it.
do you? How do you? Not how did you? How do you?
No, I'm talking about the days when I take the sessions.
Okay.
Sessions in the past. I do the same ways like I did before when I learned English the first time. Like I put the headphones in my ears and I started to hear English songs, and I tried to write it down. I did this again. I'm trying to read more like obstacles or like something new that I did in the last few days is that I activate the captions thing on the videos, because yeah, I didn't do that because when you know English very, very well, and you don't know certain words, you will still understand the whole context and the idea. You will not be obligated to know what this word exactly mean. So I do activate that the caption, so I can write down those words that I didn't know before. I bought a lot of IELTS books.
Is that falling under the category of consumption without necessity and wasting money?
No, it is very useful. I use it a lot. Like, yeah, I use it a lot. It is very useful. Come on, it's a book. It cannot be a waste of money.
What is the price? I mean, if it is a secret, you should not tell me about it. But what is the most expensive thing that you bought this year that you can tell people about?
Okay, it is.
If it's a secret, you can skip it if it's a secret.
No, it is. It is not. I don't think. Like,
Gold?
do you mean for myself or for others?
Gold, diamonds.
Diamond, yes. I bought a diamond.
Oh yeah. You told me about it.
For my mother. No, that's for my mother as a Mother's Day.
Okay, great. Good for her. How do you plan to dedicate willpower to improve your meditation?
Oh.
1 minute.
Is it related?
Yeah, I mean, you need a huge amount of willpower to focus on your meditation.
I'm
not practicing meditation.
The opposite. Like meditation will need a lot of willpower, or willpower need a lot of meditation. I don't know actually.
Well, how do you incorporate willpower to improve your meditational behavior? Like, in order to meditate, you need willpower. And in order to have willpower, you need to meditate. I mean, they are both tied together. But I think it comes from the fact that willpower is energy. And if you want to maintain some consistent meditation, you just need energy because that keeps you focused. And it should have a lot of willpower to just stand still and thinking of things.
There's a cross-linking. Yeah, you cannot know who is the first and who's the second.
It's kind of like chicken egg debate. Okay, you didn't answer that question, so let's skip to the next one. How do you incorporate willpower to manage budget?
I told you actually. I write down my spendings for about, I think, for 1 week. I did that, and I said I will not ever buy anything unnecessary again. I will go to the markets and the shops or the malls only when I need things that are very useful to me. I stopped using my cell phone a lot, like surfing internet and going through
because they have stimuli. It's kind of stimuli.
Yes, the advertisement that they did and the temptation you give, they will force you to buy even things that you don't know where to use it. So these were my principles to use a willpower to manage, to do some budgeting.
Okay, great. Anything else you want to say?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Now check this text that I sent you here in
yes.
In Skype. Do you see it?
Yes. About 500 words long, the same on the following statement. Dealing with the willpower.
Let me read it to you because I want you to understand what I'm talking about. Motherhood is a great feeling. How have you been dealing with willpower after you became a mother? I should have added a question mark here. Has willpower increased or decreased to achieve your goals and objectives in life after you became a mother? I want you to write a narrative of 500. I know 500 is not normal length. It's longer.
It is very short, I think.
Great. Compared to the dictionary of motherhood, 500 words is nothing. It's an atom. So what I want you to do is just to free yourself, open your chest, and tell me a narrative of whether you becoming a mother, despite the challenges, has pushed you forward or backward, and how, with stories, evidence, proofs. I want to hear what's in your mind, and just debate with you and talk through that. I think what I'm trying to do is to do some connection between chapter 5, your experience, and give you feedback on your academic writing for IELTS. That's my goal. So
you want me to write or you want me to talk?
I want you to write academic
because you said I want to hear.
I mean, of course, when you write, you are going to talk, but it should go through the filter of not saying, "Hey, buddy, this is me talking. I'm gonna talk about blah blah blah." I want you to use formal, solid academic writing.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Sounds very good.
Okay, great. Talk to you this week, inshallah, and whenever you finish it, just send it to me, and I'll definitely be very excited to read it and discuss it with you.
I don't know when we can meet again because I mean the exact day, because I'm going to have the COVID-19 vaccine tomorrow, so I don't know what the symptoms I will suffer from. So I will keep in touch with you, and I will tell you.
Sure.
When I finish it.
Okay, let me know tomorrow or the day after, whenever you. That's definitely okay. That's definitely okay.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, say hi to Jafar, and I look forward to see you this week, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.